You mentioned the kids drinking goat milk. How do you feel about dairy for yourself and other adults?
So, full disclosure, I love every single thing dairy I've ever tried. If I could just live on nothing but dairy, I'd be perfectly happy. That's how much I love it. Okay. I used to have a little bit of coffee in my cream. That's how much I'm just trying to tell you guys. I'm not an anti dairy guy because I just never liked it. I freaking love it. But if I were to ingest as much dairy currently as I'm currently dairy free except for butter because that's just the isolated fat from dairy, I would be anywhere from 10 to 25 pounds heavier than I am right now if I ate as much dairy as I wanted, because dairy is hyper palatable because it contains something called casomorphins, which in a baby or a child situation, you want them to be addicted to the milk, right? Because milk is nutrient dense. I'm not arguing that it's not. It is. It's full of nutrition, especially properly sourced. Probably raw milk is better than supermarket milk. That's probably true. If it's properly sourced and fresh and trustworthy, then I think it's probably the best dairy that you can give your infant, toddler, or young child. Now, at about the age of 5 to 10 years of age, 2/3 to 3/4 of humans on this planet, the vast majority, become lactose intolerant, right? Lactose intolerance is not a disease. That's actually the default state for humans. That's actually the default state for every other mammal on planet Earth, except for mammals that have been around humans for the last 5 to 10,000 years, right? There is no example of a mammal in the wild with lactase persistence as an adult mammal. Think about that. There has to be implications from that. And keep in mind, before I hurt your feelings, I love dairy. I know. But I do not think that dairy is part of a proper human diet for adults. There's reliable research that shows that between the ages of 10 and 20 years of age, the majority of people become sensitive to the caseins and the wheys in dairy. And so it may not be a lactose intolerance issue, it may be a casein or whey intolerance. And it can manifest itself as skin issues or joint issues or mental health issues or gut issues. It can be any of those, just like we talked about earlier. And so it may not be just readily apparent. Like with lactose intolerance, you drink milk, you're going to know immediately. You're going to have immediate gut feedback that that was a bad decision, right? And so fermenting the dairy makes it less inflammatory for the vast majority of people. Indeed, many people with lactose intolerance, if you ferment the dairy completely, they can tolerate it, right? And you also, when you ferment dairy, you bend the casein protein and you bend the whey protein. That's why it goes from a liquid to a solid. You've changed the 3D architecture of the proteins. And for most people, that makes the proteins less inflammatory as well. And if you talk to the right archaeologist or anthropologist, they will tell you that we discovered fermenting dairy by accident. Almost certainly that was an accident, right? But then we all started fermenting all dairy because it made the dairy less inflammatory. So a larger percentage of our tribe in a starvation poverty situation, 20 or 30% of our people would die from diarrhea or something if we just had to live on dairy and nothing else. A lot of us wouldn't make it. But if you ferment the dairy, then a much larger percentage of the tribe can at least get by on the dairy. And so fermenting dairy does not magically unlock some magical nutrients. It just makes the dairy less inflammatory. Okay. And that's the take home message. And I lose people when I start bad mouthing dairy because it's so delicious. And dairy is habit forming because many of the cheeses actually concentrate the casomorphin content. They actually concentrate the casein, which is the precursor of the casomorphin. And so many cheeses, hard cheeses that are keto approved, that if you watch my videos from 2018, I'm like, oh, eat that cheese, eat that hard Parmesan, but it actually is higher in casomorphins and casein. And for people who are addicted to the cheese, it can be a problem. And I'm one of those people. If I ate as much cheese and dairy as I wanted, Jesse, I'm just telling you, I could not wear these shorts right now. They would be too small.
All right, so you're not drinking dairy. You're drinking RO water, coffee. Any other beverages?
Occasionally unsweetened tea. You have to say unsweet tea here in the South because if you don't, it's going to have about a pound of sugar per glass of tea. So unsweet teas, unsweet coffee, water, both sparkling and still. And then occasionally I will drink some like a Zevia or something like that, just as an occasion. I don't think it's a huge deal if you have that occasionally, but on the daily, it's just water. And then if I've been sweating profusely, I'll put a packet of unflavored Elements. And Element had that flare up where they had a little sweetener in there and a little more than they had said. But the one thing I like about Element is on their website, I think since day one, and it's still there today, they've got a recipe that if you're like, dude, Element's expensive, I can't afford that. They literally have a recipe that you can go to any supermarket and buy the supplies and make your own electrolyte supplement for like 3 cents a serving. 10 cents a gallon of electrolyte water. You can make it yourself with ingredients that are at any supermarket. And I respect them. Like that, obviously that's going to cut into their profit, but that's they're making good money, but they're not forgetting the people that can't afford their product. And that I really respect that about them.
All right, how do you feel about alcohol? In our world, there's people on both sides of this one. What do you think?
If you've studied human physiology and the human liver, and you must admit, alcohol in any amount is poison. There is no health benefit to drinking any type of alcohol in any amount, however large or however small. There's no benefit. I'm sorry. Show me the research. Alcohol is poison. Now, with that being said, when we're going to Dollywood, we're going on a little vacation to Knoxville, I'll probably have a mixed drink with a sugar-free mixer while we're out at a restaurant. I'll probably do that because I'm a human, and humans are great at being very intelligent and also doing stupid things at the same time. But as I've gotten older, I almost never drink. Maybe one mixed drink a quarter. It's just literally not in my life anymore. I used to drink a lot more just because I was young and dumb, but I just don't drink anymore because I know I've studied it. It's poison. There's never a health benefit to drinking alcohol.
If you enjoyed that clip, you're going to want to head over here and catch the full episode. I'll see you over there.
Dispel the myth that keto or carnivore is some fad diet. This is literally the oldest diet known to humanity. It cannot be bad for you because the 4 things that humans have been doing for the longest period of time